find your passion, it ignites you as a person. You just feel awesome. Hello, welcome. What is going on? If you are new to my channel, hello, my name is Crystal. If you're a returning subscriber, what is going on? I appreciate it. So I've had some requests. I had one person request submissions from mount, and another one request a muffler technique, and surprise, surprise, I actually have a video of me live rolling, placing a muffler technique on a person while I had him in a mounted triangle. Now you need to listen to me, okay? This is important. This is very important because I do not want to be responsible for you getting yourself into trouble at another school, okay? So let me just explain this to you because this is very important, okay? If there are certain techniques in Jiu-Jitsu that some people find like disrespectful, okay? So let's say you were to go to a new school where you don't know anybody and you try to do this technique, which I'll show you later, you try to do this technique to somebody, they are probably not going to have the best reaction to you, and it might become a harder role for you. Okay, so there are just certain times where this muffling technique is appropriate because some people find it disrespectful. It all depends what the culture is at your school. So the muffling technique is a technique in which you take 3 fingers and you put it across their mouth. You take your pinky and you hook it under like a meat hook under their chin, and you use your thumb to then block their nose. So the little meat hook pinky is nice because if they move around, they really can't, and it also allows you to keep their mouth shut just in case they are trying to bite you, which typically doesn't happen on the Jiu-Jitsu mats. So this technique can be disrespectful to certain people. I have used it on the mat before. I'll tell you a couple of stories. So when I use this technique, it's always in a very playful, funny manner because of how disrespectful it can be. And I only do it to people who I've trained with before and like we're cool with each other. There's no like weird malicious intent, or we're not like rivals, or this is like a playful technique. And I typically do it on upper belts. Like if I'm rolling, like one time I was rolling with a black belt, and like obviously if I'm rolling with a black belt who's significantly, has 50 or 60 pounds on me, like I'm not getting anything. Like he's giving me stuff. He's letting me have positions and techniques. And so, I put this on him and he just started laughing because it's like kind of cute when like, a non-threatening lower belt does something like that to you. So if somebody were to muffle me, like a non-threatening like white belt, or somebody that did it with playful intentions, like I personally would laugh at it. I know other people would get highly offended. Now, would I ever do it in a non-playful way? To be quite honest, if a white belt walks in, like a brand new person, and some white belts have like a bit of an ego, and some of them, especially if they've had like a wrestling background, can be like a tad bit aggressive. So if I'm rolling with somebody that's just being super aggressive and I kind of just want to calm him down and like, you need to calm down, then I'll do that technique as well. But I'm not like, if you try it on somebody, that's my warning. Like you might have a hard roll after that. You might lose some friendships on the mat if you're not good at reading people and situations and you apply it at the wrong time. Now, the advantages of doing this technique, I've seen this technique done in the octagon before. Who was fighting? what the hell is her name? She just fought Renault, Misha Tate. All right, so Misha just fought Renault and won, but one of her previous fights, there's pictures of her like muffling her opponent, and that is beneficial because you are obstructing their breathing pattern, so you're affecting their ability to breathe, and it's also a bit of a distraction. So if you're trying to, for example, sink in a rear naked choke or go for something else, and you can use that muffling technique as a way to distract and as a way to make your opponent more flustered because you're suffocating them. Yeah. So some benefits of a mounted triangle, I personally prefer, if I had the choice between a triangle from the mount position or a triangle from guard, from somebody being inside my guard, I would hands down always choose a triangle from the mount. And the reason being, if you lose the triangle like from the mount position, at least there's a bit of a scramble and you can still get a top side position. If you lose the triangle from guard, from somebody being inside of your guard, meaning you're on your back and somebody's inside of your legs, then you can try to go for like a Hail Mary armbar. There's other submissions you can do, but at the end of the day, you are on your back. And if you go out there and you're in a self-defense situation, like you never want to be on your back. Like we have submissions on our back because that's like the airbag. Like it is the holy crap, I am in a bad position. Let's see what I can do from here. It is never, ever, ever the first choice for you to be. Like if you see an MMA fight, for example, like people get up, like when I got that spinning back fist to my head and she hit me so hard that she broke her arm during my last MMA fight, I got knocked to the ground. You could audibly hear the snap. And even though I was almost knocked out, like I was seeing little birdies at the time, my gut reaction was to stand up. Like that's the first thing you always want to do, is get to your feet. There's a little funny video going around with like John Danaher. It's like it's just like small clips of John Danaher being like methods to kick your opponent if they stay in the supine position, and he says one line about like, you need to have your feet be a little gory before you even talk about punching, which is kind of funny. But yeah, so I'll show you this roll, and I won't narrate it. If you want this roll narrated, go ahead and visit my Patreon page and become a member of my Patreon page and send me a message and say, hey, can you narrate this video? And I will be more than happy to do that. So my Patreon is always linked down below, and it's always at the beginning. And yeah, it's always at the beginning. Like I do a little, So yeah, so remember, being in the mount position is always better than having somebody in your guard and you being on your back. And if you want to know, I have this extremely good video about the different positions of Jiu-Jitsu. It's called the positional advantage parameters, and the parameters and the positional disadvantage parameters. And I go through each Jiu-Jitsu position and I tell you exactly why it is better or worse. And I give you like this great tree of like, okay, this is where you want to be, and this is going to be worse, and this is going to be better. And that's very valuable. So go just search that video on my page. If you search positional advantage or positional disadvantage, it should show up. But that's super valuable because, especially if you're a beginner, like you want to know like what is worse, because you're already going to be in like crappy positions. So you want to know, like, is this going to get crappier? Like, how can I prevent it from being crappier? And where am I going next? Because if you don't know where you're going to go next positionally, like then you kind of, you have no idea. It's not a good place to be. All right, so I will show you the role and let me know in the comments if you want me to narrate it, and go visit my Patreon. All right, until next time.